That we call it. What's going on right now?
Or you can send it
She's
to
at work. She's at work, so she can't get in.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Oh, is it on YouTube?
I send you the link.
Please.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone.
I'm gonna write your number.
So, my name is Craig, and as always, it's good to have you be a part of what we're doing here at Catholic Recovery Center. And so, as I'm preparing to set this up, for anyone that may want to join us, you are more than welcome to participate. This is our 3:00 meeting for men and training, mentoring group. All right. All right. Let's see. Something ain't working. Let's see. I'm trying to get everyone involved here. So there's so much going on.
We don't want to miss nobody.
Definitely don't want to miss nobody.
Should I sit back there?
Yeah.
Well, you would not be seen. Oh well, we can't have you on the camera.
Okay,
Yeah, for safety reason until we.
Maybe somebody want help, right? Stop.
I don't know what's going on with that, but we're not going to worry about that.
Yes, sir.
So, I'll tell you more about why. And so,
Oh, sorry.
that's all right. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Carl, I'm a recovery coach here. Nice to meet you guys.
And we have a special person in the house, and his name is
Ernesto Rodriguez.
Ernesto Rodriguez. And he's here. I know for all the people who are supporting him, they may want to see him. But until we get the paperwork straightened out, we're not allowed to have Mr. Ernesto physically on the camera. But for the meanwhile, we're going to be talking about rebuilding relationships after rehab. And this article is brought to you by none other than tranquilshores.org. Let me say that again. tranquilshores.org. Go online and Google it. You're more than welcome. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off. Want to read? Or?
We start yet.
Okay. Cool.
Building family relationships after rehab. When we think of drug and alcohol addictions, our minds often immediately zero in on the physical damage done to our bodies. Throughout the course of our addiction cycle, just as important, however, is the damage done to the families and loved ones of people who have gone through addiction. Making it through rehab is a huge accomplishment, but it really is just the beginning of our more protracted journey toward recovery. That journey involves making things right with those you may have wronged. In the throes of addiction, you likely underwent many profound personality changes. These changes may have negatively affected your ability to properly manage your family, relationships, marriages, or even friendships. Throughout your addiction cycle, you may have become totally unrecognizable. Yep, recognizable to these important people. Everyone feels it and may think that the relationships are virtually beyond repair, but they are just not true. Once the dust settles after going through rehab, you can start reconnecting with family and rebuilding relationships after addiction.
So let's talk a little bit about relationships and why we're on this subject, because I think it's very important when we're talking about mentoring, because a lot of times young people even look up to us, and maybe some older people may look up. It's not an age factor, but it's about your characteristics, some of the behaviors, things of that nature that people have a tendency to want to connect with us.
Yeah.
So if we are offbeat, if we're using drugs and we're acting abnormal, a lot of times people have a tendency to shy away. And so that's why we want to build up. I was telling, say your name again.
Ernesto.
Ernesto. Him and I was speaking, that we was talking about sometimes our image and sometimes our behavior may reflect something that people would not want to associate themselves with us. So we want to dispel those negative images and traits by replacing them with something positive. So that's why we're rebuilding relationship after rehab. All right?
Important, very important.
Very important. So you feel like read some more?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Leaving a rehabilitation program is just the first step on the road of recovery, and repairing relationships and reconnecting afterwards is a very important part of the strategy for maintaining sobriety. Doing so can help you create a life worth living following your addiction. It is not easy. Many people say that this stage of recovery is actually harder than withdrawing from the drugs or alcohol themselves, but you are absolutely capable. Recovery is not just a matter of healing for the individual struggling with addiction. The family must also acknowledge their pain and challenges and seek help from themselves. Surprisingly, this can be difficult at times, especially if there are others struggling with addiction in the family or loved ones who have become enablers. Addiction affects everyone in the addict's life. Everybody experiencing the pain and dysfunction of addiction, which is why it's known as a family disease.
It is known as a family disease. And so a lot of times we burn our bridges with our loved ones because we make false promises. You know, especially when, you know, we say, well, we're going to be at your birthday party. We're going to be at your game, your sport event, your ballet event. We're going to take you here shopping. And then we never come through. And so now people are looking at us with disdain or distrust. And so once we come out of rehab, we tell them we are this new person. So a lot of times people look at us, you know, but why not open, why not closed, suspect, you know, not trusting because we have made so many false promises.
You ain't noticed lately, we've been on this topic for a lot of times this past week and have family disease.
Family disease, that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so addiction is not an individual that we know of, not an individual disease.
Yeah.
Everybody's affected.
suffers.
You know, I know when I was drinking and drugging, running the streets, my mom, she used to say, well, you know, I can't really sleep at night, you know. But then when I got arrested, she said, well, I hate that you got arrested, but at least I know where you're at. You know, I can feel a little at ease. So that's why we are talking about rebuilding relationships after rehab. It's very important because we can work on ourselves, but what about working on
The relationship?
And family members, as the article said, they need to be working on how they can better assist us because we ain't perfect.
They got to go through their own process, just like we got to go through ours.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? I lost train of thought. But like, yeah, that, like as my mom, she you know, suffered the consequences of my actions, and that's what it was. When you get out of treatment, you know, instead of saying I'm going to do good and saying this and saying that, the old I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It after a while, it doesn't mean anything. It's about action. And that just that alone, you don't have to say anything. You start doing good and doing the right things and stuff like that. And if the bridges ain't burnt too much, they can rebuild these relationships just by your actions.
Nice. If you haven't
Even if the bridges are burnt, you can rebuild them.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, brother, Mr. Arnez. Arnez or Ernesto. I like that name so strong. Ernesto. Yeah. Did you get one of these papers?
Yes, sir.
You feel like reading a little
I
bit?
don't like to do
You
that.
cool?
Okay.
Not right now. I will.
All right.
Let me just listen for a little.
All right.
If
Well,
that's okay with you.
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. I'm going to do a little reading
Yes,
because,
sir.
you know, but I want you to, feel comfortable.
I am comfortable. That's why I'm here.
Gotcha. Perfect. I like that. So the next one we're going to be talking about, everyone who's watching. Let me see if I can log them back into this Teams, because I don't know why it's not working, guys.
So this is a bunch of other people joining in if they want to.
Hopefully, if we can get
Yep.
it. Leave. Are you sure you want to leave? Let's do this. Leave that.
Okay, I just went to our YouTube. We was live.
Yeah.
Was we?
Yeah, I was just on it.
Okay,
The,
cool.
the gentleman just sent me the site, and I was on it.
Let's do it again then. Because I don't want to mess up the screening. And
Now we are. Let me see. Oh, that's right there.
see what it says. Your computer pretty busy. Close some apps and then try again.
We had a problem with this before.
Yeah. So, but if you say we was
We
on,
was. Now we not.
okay. Log out and come back in. We on.
Okay.
I think anyway. But anyway, he's gonna send you the link. So the next one we're gonna talk about is what? Strategize and repair your relationship after rehab. The nature of the strategies for rebuilding relationship post-rehab depends largely on the type of relationship that needs
Here we go.
repairing. Beautiful. And so we're back on. Sorry for the mishap. Mr. Ernesto, he's with us, and so he's going to be a part of us. More he comes, the more he's going to participate.
Yes, sir.
Oftentimes, people must repair relationship with family members, spouses, friends, and even their own children. No matter what relationship you're trying to repair, however, a few commonalities exists. And let's see what the article is talking about. Rebuilding trust is one of them with the important people in your life, right? It says one of the most important aspects of any relationship, regardless of whether or not addiction is a factor, is trust. The unfortunate reality is that breaking someone's trust is much easier to do than restoring it. To repair family relationship after rehab, you have to be prepared to put in the time and maintain trust you'll rebuild. Try to think back to how many promises. Remember I said false promises that we made in the past?
Yeah.
So the article goes on to say, try to think back on how many promises you were unable to keep during your time as an addict. How often did you not show up to a place or an event that you said you would? How many times did you tell someone you'll do a favor for them and not actually end up doing it? You have to try your best to understand how these sorts of disappointment can wear on people's spirits and patience. So a lot of times we want people to forgive us, and it's not that easy. A lot of times we say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and we think everything's supposed to be hunky-dory. Everything's supposed to be smooth and laid out. When we come home, the food is ready, when we don't hurt somebody, and you're wondering, well, why you didn't cook? I'm still hurting, from what you did last time or whatever, So I've learned that people heal in their own time.
That's right.
And so we're still talking about MIT, Men in Training. This is a mentoring lesson. So we're learning different coping mechanisms, different approaches, how we can become better men to our family, on our jobs, in our place of worship, whether we're going to school, different institutions that we built. So we want to be the best that we can in every aspect of our lives. Y'all agree or not?
And it says we're talking about rebuilding trust. And we want that right away. We want everything back right away after the damage we have caused. And from my experience, I didn't have a key to that house when I first got out of a treatment facility. I had a key, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mom's hiding her stuff still, because I was sneaky and a lot. And, over time, just me, like I said, them empty promises they don't work no more. You know, after a while, they know how you are. Your families know all the ins and outs of your scheming and lying and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know, I did make an amends, but you know, I do good today. So my family sees me doing good. You know, and that trust builds over time. And sometimes you don't get people's trust back. That's just the reality of it. Some of them bridges are burnt and they're like done. That's just where acceptance comes in. It's like, you know, I'll keep doing good. Maybe one day.
Yeah. And so to anybody that listen to us or have these open discussions, sharing our story or our past, the goal is to help a mentee, to a young mentee or older mentee, if they're struggling with relationship building. We're sharing this information to let you know you're not alone and that there's different approaches that you can take, and that, you know, we all have to step up to the plate and be tested from what, not only what we say, but what we do. And so give it time. You know, just give it time.
That's right.
Time can heal all wounds if you allow it. All right, we're gonna keep reading on. So it says, to start rebuilding trust. We're still on that word trust. So important. You should immediately start making and keeping promises, no matter how small. Offer to help clean around the house, then actually do it. Offer to run small errands like grocery shopping or going to the car wash, and then follow through. This is more around the realm of not only trust, but being responsible. You know, taking responsibility for what we say and what we do.
That's right.
Keeping small promises and building up to larger ones can help you build your reputation as a trustworthy. These are some good characteristics. Trustworthy and dependable person. And so, as mentees and mentors, we want to be trustworthy. We want to be dependable. So if we were sharing this information and we're trying to help someone, we want them to emulate and demonstrate what it is to be trustworthy and dependable. Beyond action, you can also demonstrate your commitment to rebuilding trust by being open and communicating freely about your feelings concerning your recovery and your relationship. And so we as men, you know, we got this macho bravado thing, you know, we want to hold on to our feelings. You know, some men don't know how to express their feelings.
Yeah.
You know, or share, like the article says, share how you're feeling. You know?
Better that. Sometimes we don't want to share them, but we gotta identify them too. You know?
Yeah.
We don't have to identify our feelings. You know, sometimes it's just for example, when I get upset, I'll go to anger, rage, or something like that when I'm really sad. You know what I mean? So identifying your feelings, how are you gonna express your feelings when you can't even identify?
Can't identify. I like that. You said, you know, I'm really sad, but I'm not expressing it. I'm expressing it in a way that is not conducive or constructive moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, but if I tell the person that I'm upset with that I'm feeling sad, maybe my communication can be elevated to another level, because then now they can have some empathy. You know, so that's different from having sympathy and having empathy. You know what I mean? Empathy goes a long way. It's more like compassion for somebody. You know? All right, let's read the next one. What the next one says. Be ready for people to remain angry with you. Remember, be ready for people to remain angry with you. It ain't gonna always be smooth. There gonna be some bumps in the road at times. So be ready. Prepare yourself.
Can we start with it?
Sure.
After rehab, as you come to terms with your addiction, you realize that you're unable to control other people's feelings and emotions. With respect to your experience, they did not have the same healing opportunity as you did in rehab. They continued living their same lives as you were going through the early stages of recovery. Just as you had time to process things, they too will need time. Nothing has changed for them. If you are persistent with your efforts to make amends with people, time may be able to heal the wounds endured on both sides. If you know you have anyone still standing by your side after your addiction and going through rehab, you are the one of the lucky ones. You should not accept an immediate change in attitude or perception from your loved ones. They may meet your efforts with hesitation or resistance, but you should stay hopeful and they will eventually come around with open arms.
Mhm.
You also need to know that you can't salvage every relationship after addiction. The damage that it made to is extensive, and your loved ones may decide that they are emotionally safer without you in their lives. That's a deep one.
Mhm.
Accepting this reality can be hard, but you should do your best to let it not discourage you. The most important task you have at hand is staying focused on your path toward recovery and maintaining sobriety.
All right. So don't give up. Basically, what it's saying, don't give up. Even though you may run up against someone who still have a wall up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it takes a while. Someone who has been hurt so bad, it may take some while to peel back some of the scars, the layers of hurt and pain. So just take your time, do the best you can. The article says some people, you know, they take things more to the heart, and so they may not be reluctant.
And I like how it says, like, we go to treatment and stuff like that, or we go to a certain fellowship or whatever. That's our healing process, our recovery process. And our family members might not dealt with the emotions and feelings we have damaged on them. There's, like you said, living their daily lives and stuff like that. So they definitely have a healing process to go through, just like we would have to.
Right. So what I'm hearing you saying is that just as we seek support groups,
Yep. Or yeah, counseling, therapy, whatever.
they, it's suggested that they get some type of help as well
Yes.
to better understand the hurt that they're feeling and the hurt that one caused a loved one, whoever it may be, have caused towards them, and help them how to heal. Because we all want to comfort one another. We want our loved ones. We want all our people that we come in contact with to know that we are here. We're human. We make mistakes. Let's come together. You got something you want to add on that stuff?
I'm on set.
You still ride with it?
I'm on with you.
All right, cool.
I'm listening.
All right. Because I know you said you had your wife that you want to share. 'Cause I want her to hear your voice.
I heard my wife this weekend.
You did you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so now these are some that maybe some thoughts that maybe you may hear from the reading or from the discussion that a better approach.
Yeah, I like the trust. The trust situation. You were saying that we want them to trust us immediately.
Yeah.
One thing for sure that we don't have patience.
Yeah.
I know I don't have patience.
Yeah, it's a
Hey,
process.
be by yourself,
I
man.
want everybody else to have patience, but I'm just laughing.
Wish life worked that way, huh?
As soon as I'm done with my whatever it is I'm doing, I want her to immediately trust me.
Hey, man.
And she doesn't, and she has every right not to, and she has every right to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay too.
Yeah,
she's been mad at me since Friday. Yesterday was the first time we spoke.
Mm-hmm.
But that woman had patience, and I gotta learn that from her.
I'm glad you said that, man, because it takes a real man to say that, and recognize that, because just like you, like me and my wife, we have had, some discussions and arguments, and I know I heard her as well, but we went through like counseling, biblical counseling, and then I had to learn from the biblical counselor. Says, you can't make her heal the way you want her to heal, or forgive,
That's a good
mediate,
one.
the way you want it. It takes time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I had, because we're men, we make mistakes. We're human, we make mistakes, but we're learning. Sometimes like I didn't have like a male role model or figure in my life. So a lot of things, even with marriage, I'm gonna share this with you guys, that I'm learning on the fly through trial and error. But I look at other men, positive men that in my church that I go to, and I look at how they behave and how their spiritual walk and how they treat their wives. And so I say, man, that's something I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's what we try to do for other men, and young men, older men. We want to share them and say, listen, we didn't get it right, first time or the second time or the third time, but we're working on it.
Recovery is a learning process.
It's a learning process. All right, you can't be afraid to learn, because they said once you think you have reached your highest height or zenith or apex in life as far as learning, that's when you begin to descend.
I like that.
So that's a word to the wise. So we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna read this last one, and then we're gonna move on until next week. But I want to read some more, and then we're gonna be out of here. Okay?
All right.
Attend support meetings regularly. All right. Just because you came out of rehab, don't think you got it all licked. Don't think you're the facilitator of the year. Listen, pump your brakes, calm down. The article said attend support meetings regularly. The people in your life will almost assuredly want to see proof, all right, that you are helping yourself through your own recovery. One way to ensure that they know how serious you are is to attend meetings and connect with other people going through the same sort of struggle. Getting support and advice from others can really go a long way toward keep you on track. The first days and months following treatment are, unfortunately, the times in which you are most likely to relapse. All right, it says, I'll give you some facts right here. It says the National Institute on Drug Abuse estimates that relapse rates for people addicted to drugs fall somewhere between 40% and 60%, compared with 30 to 50% of patients with type 1 diabetes and 50 to 70% of patients with asthma. Relapse rates of people struggling with addiction are akin to those of people suffering from chronic diseases. So we call it's defined as a disease, just like any other disease: drug addiction, eating disorder, gambling addiction, et cetera, diabetes, asthma. Listen, it all takes effect on our health. And so we want to be mindful that we want to be the best person that we can be, not only on the outside, because a lot of times we come out of these places, whether it be incarceration or rehab, we looking good, we shining, but are we healthy on the inside? So we recommend and we suggest that you stick with a good diet, exercise, go to your doctor, let them examine you and give you some good advice. You have anything before we close, Carl?
Our last topic, we were talking about attend support meetings regularly, and regularly means constantly. That's how I take it. On a constant basis, and NA meetings, AA meetings, your CA. There's a whole bunch of support groups, right? Come down to the center, recovery coaches here to help you out. There's a lot of support out there to help you in your recovery. And there's a lot of pathways to recovery. So that's all I have.
Yeah, and so one day me and Carl was leaving work, and he told me, he said, man, I've got, whatever it is they got, as far as recovery, I want it. I'm greedy, you know? And so he's a person who says, you know, he's willing and able to learn as much as he can. Ernesto, you got anything before we close?
I won't stop here next time. Just let me know what's the next time.
Okay, then good. And so for now, we're gonna sign off. My name is Craig.
I'm Carl.
Ernesto. All right. See you guys until the next time. Take care of yourself and be good to